We'll start off with our usual landing and grounding practice. And so you can have your eyes closed or softly open, whichever feels best to you. And I invite you just to get into a comfortable posture, alert, ready to practice. You don't have to be sitting up. You can be lying down or even standing, whatever feels most comfortable for you. I'm going to stay seated throughout both practices. So we start this practice just by feeling the weight of our body on the chair or on the floor or on whatever surface you're sitting, lying or standing on. And using that to ground ourselves, taking the time to move out of what may have been a very busy morning, and taking some time for ourselves. If you feel the weight of our bodies, the chair or the floor, we're all supported by the same earth. That'll be here for us all throughout the practice and connects us all. And as we feel the connection of our bodies to this shared earth, I invite you to turn attention to your feet and how they're resting on the surface. Just feel their weight supporting us. And throughout this session today, we can come back to the feeling of our bodies, our feet, supporting us if we need to become grounded again. As we pay attention to the weight of our bodies on the chair or the floor, the settee, we can use that to step out of busy clock time. Don't need to look at our watches. We can just pay attention to the here and now and what's going on for us right now in this moment. And as we settle, possible, indeed likely that we've got thoughts whizzing in, I invite you just to note those. Just let them pass and turn our attention again to the weight of our bodies being supported by the earth and supporting all of us in this practice. Now I invite you to turn attention to the breath. Just notice where the breath's most obvious for you right now. Is it a whisper of cold air coming in through your nostrils? Is it the rising and falling of your chest or your belly? Does the in-breath feel different to the out-breath? We're going to rest paying attention to the breath for a few moments. Again, you may have thoughts coming in, attempting to chase those thoughts. We all do it. But with kindness and compassion, and turn your attention back to your breath, to the body, the weight on the chair or the floor. And let those thoughts pass. Still paying attention to the breath, I invite you just to focus on where the air's coming into your body. So, a whisper of cold air on the nostrils or the lips. Be curious about this. You're breathing deeply. Has the pattern of your breath changed since you started to pay attention to it during this practice? Each breath is a new experience, reminding us of life moving on, of impermanence. And each breath we experience in the moment. And the breath can act as an anchor. So again, we'll focus on that, if you wish, for a few more moments. The breath is an anchor. Again, if parts of the practice get too much or we can't focus on a longer practice, we can always move back to the breath to anchor us, to bring us back into the present. And as we move out of this short landing and grounding practice, I invite you to once again turn your attention to the weight of your body on the floor or on the chair, on the settee, wherever you are. And notice that the support the earth is giving us. And that's the same whether or not we're the ground floor, the top floor. The structure that we're sitting on is supported, embedded into the earth, providing us with stability, even if other things around us are turbulent. And as we bring this first practice to an end, I invite you just to maybe bring a bit of gentle movement in, a bit of a stretch, move the shoulders, and get ourselves ready for the next practice. We're just going to take a moment and we'll just sit in silence together while we have a drink, a stretch. Just recenter ourselves before we go into our longer practice. Thank you. Okay, so what I'm planning to do today, if this sounds okay with everyone, is a compassionate body scan, but also focusing a bit on the breathing, giving some gratitude to our bodies for supporting us in this very hectic, often very hectic life, and an opportunity just to pay attention to our bodies in a quiet and compassionate way. So I hope that sounds okay with everyone. And as always, if things get intense, we can return to the grounding of our body weight and our breath. So let's start off then. And again, you can have eyes softly open or closed, whichever you prefer. You can do this practice however you want in terms of being seated, standing, lying. It's entirely up to you. And again, I'm saying I'm going to stay seated. And I invite you to stay alert throughout this practice. And we're first going to focus on our body weight again on the chair and being supported by the earth. So coming back to that landing and grounding practice and just revisiting some of that. And we're revisiting it again with a curiosity, with a beginner's mind. It could be different in this moment to 5 minutes ago. We're just going to take a few moments just to pay attention to that, the feeling of our body being supported by the earth, in the knowledge that that earth is supporting us all in our shared practice, even though we're all in different places, possibly in different time zones. Now that we've paid attention to our body weight on the chair, being anchored to the ground, I invite you to turn attention again to the breath. Feeling of the cool air coming in through the nostrils. Also, where else in the body you can feel the breath. Belly, chest, back. And if this feels right for you, if it feels comfortable, I invite you to pop a hand on your belly and a hand on your chest. Spend some time being curious. Does your chest rise more than your belly? As you breathe in and out. You can feel the breath in your belly. Breathe in, the belly expands. And does it expand more than it contracts? And you breathe out again. Do your belly and chest move at the same time? Of course, there's no right or wrong answers to these, and everyone is different. And this is why we're bringing this sense of curiosity to what's going on right now. The breath that supports us every moment of every day, even when we're asleep, we're often not conscious of it. And in this practice, we're bringing a sense of awareness to it, curiosity. And as you feel belly, chest rising, you may also be aware of your heart beating. Again, this is another aspect of our body that carries on day in, day out. Breath, the heart pumping blood around the body, literally keeping us alive, whatever else is going on in our lives around us. These are constantly working for us. At this point, you may want us to pay attention to your heart beating quickly, slowly. Is it very obvious? Can you feel it in your chest? Or is your pulse more obvious elsewhere in your body? Your neck, your thumbs, your feet. As you do this, other thoughts might come into your mind. This is entirely normal. It's what minds do. Just gently return your attention back to the body. As I said, if you need to, you can return your attention to the feeling of stability on the chair. It turns out that focusing on the breath or the heart is too much. And as we focus on these functions of the body that keep us alive unconditionally, we could bring some gratitude to them. Spend a moment being thankful for this body that works so hard to keep us ticking over, despite all the complex relationships we may otherwise have with our body. And with that, I invite you to put your hands back on your lap or wherever else you feel most comfortable. Focusing again on the feeling of support and solidity that the earth offers your body. And I invite you to turn your attention to the very, very top of your head, to the crown of your head, to the scalp. And again, as we start paying attention to our heads and noticing them, these thoughts may start to be more obvious, and that's absolutely fine. I invite you to greet them and just turn your attention gently back to the very top of your head, to the scalp. Notice the sensations, the very top of your body. You may not feel anything at all, and that's perfectly okay. You may feel tingling or itching. You may feel the weight of your hair pulling on those hair follicles. Just bring a sense of curiosity. It's amazing what we find out about our bodies when we start to pay deep attention to them. And so often we spend our lives rushing through life without paying attention to our bodies. It's why greeting our bodies with gratitude and compassion can be so useful. It's from time to time taking that time just to step out of busyness, just to spend a bit of time focusing on what's going on with us right now. So if this feels okay for you, we'll move down the top of the head, the scalp, the hair, to the forehead. Pay attention to what's going on in that area in the face. We often hold tension. Maybe aware of this constant frowning, muscles contracting. Just see whether or not with a bit of attention you can maybe relax things a little bit there if they're tense. Be curious. Does your forehead feel different to your eyelids or your cheeks? What's going on there? And the sensations that arise when we think about different parts of our body may not just be physical, they may be emotional as well. And so be alert to those, be curious, see what's coming in, what's happening for you as we pay attention to different parts of our body. Again, if you feel ready to do this, we'll move on to the nose and the lips, the tongue, the teeth. Where is your tongue and your mouth? Stuck to the roof of your mouth? Is it relaxed and sitting against your teeth? You aware of any sensations? We can greet those sensations non-judgmentally. Sense of interest about what's going on. And while we're focusing on this area, you may want to turn your attention back to the breath for a few moments. Do you notice anything different about the breath now that you've focused on the parts of your body, the nose, the mouth, where the breath enters our bodies first? Might be interesting to track that breath up through your nose, and as it goes into the rest of your body, because of course we've got this connection, haven't we, down our trachea into our lungs. And now I invite you to pay attention to your neck and shoulders. Shoulders often an area where people again hold tension, so without making a judgment on good or bad or tense or non-tense, just observe where your shoulders are. Are they sitting down? Are they resting in a depressed position? Are they elevated closer to your ears? Does one shoulder feel different to the other? Do your shoulders feel connected to other parts of your body, to your chest and to your back? Or is there something in your shoulders that's just pulling the attention just to them, and the sensation is intense around your shoulders? This is also where we can bring some compassion in. Experiencing pain or discomfort in any region, and it's common in the shoulders. And some compassion to that part of your body that works so hard at the computer or lifting things. And if this feels right to you, just see whether or not the sensation in your shoulders changes as you pay attention to it. There may be very little sensation at all, and that's fine as well. Again, thoughts might be arising. Greet them. Say hello, and turn your attention back to the feeling of the body. I'm going to move down again. We've paid attention to the front part of our body, to our heart, our lungs, chest moving, our belly moving. So now I invite you to pay attention to the back of your body. You feel movement with the breath. You feel small movements of muscles adjusting to keep you in your posture, whether that's sitting, lying, or standing. It's your torso making little tiny movements to keep you in that position. And is anything grabbing for your attention? So we're focusing on the back as a whole here, but is there a part of your back that says, pay attention to me, please? If it feels right for you, you can explore that. Equally, there may be parts of your back that you haven't really paid much attention to, that don't seem to be giving you anything to be aware of. And it might be useful just to hone in on those and just say, okay, what's going on there? And as I'm sitting here, as I'm thinking about my back, I inevitably start to think about the weight of my body on the chair. Maybe doing the same, whether you're sitting, standing, or lying. Particularly if you're sitting or lying, the contact of your body with the surface underneath you. So we can pay attention to that. So a part of your body that seems to be putting more pressure on the surface. Is the left different to the right? Are you sitting or lying in a symmetrical way, or do you prefer one side over the other? Does that feeling change when you breathe? Does it differ with the in-breath, the out-breath? What's going on around the hips? Pelvis and hips are part of the body that connects the upper and the lower body. How do you feel in this area? Just bring some curiosity to it. And the lower back around the hips, often a place where, again, people can get pain and tension. If that's the case for you, if this feels all right for you, just pay attention to that and the nature of it. Does it wax and wane? Does it get greater and less? Does it stay the same? Does it alter with the breath? Is it causing you to shift position, however gently or imperceptibly? We can remember that we can always move back to the breath if we need to pay attention elsewhere. So let's now move and think about our legs as a whole. These legs that, again, work very hard. We're sitting or lying or standing. I invite you to pay attention to both your legs together, but perhaps compare how one side of your body feels compared to the other side. Is there anything you've noticed that you're not usually aware of? What are the sensations like? Feel neutral? Or is there something, again, grabbing for your attention in this region? And then the top of the legs, the thighs, we move to the knees. You're not visualizing your knees, you're not thinking about your knees, you're just paying attention to them, being aware, bringing in a sense of curiosity. And knees can be another part of the body that we sometimes not get on very well with. And if that's the case for you, and if this feels right for you, you can bring them some love and compassion and a bit of gratitude for what they've done, but some compassion for that part of your body and to you as a whole individual. Then from knees, I invite you to notice what's going on in your feet. Are they hot? Are they cold? Are they tingly? Do they feel a bit restless after spending 20 minutes in practice? Do you feel that they might want to move in the near future? Again, left and right, do they feel different? The tops and the bottoms have any differences? Feet seem a long way from mouth, nose and lungs, but is there anything that they're doing in response to the breath? Can you feel a pulse? How are they connected to the rest of your body? With a sense of curiosity, do they feel different to your hands? Your hands are again the extremities of the body. Your feet and your hands, do they feel different? They do different jobs. They're very similar structures. Bring some curiosity to that. You're aware of the nails. The temperature of the air around you on your fingertips. Your fingers clenched? Are your hands in a fist, or are they relaxed? As you focus and pay attention on this part of your body, is it changing? Your fingers becoming more relaxed, or are they becoming less relaxed? Or are they just staying the same? On fingers and hands and wrists, we can move up. Our arms, elbows, how are they positioned? Are they out straight? Are they slightly bent? Are you noticing any particular feeling or sensation in them? And then up again, back to those shoulders we paid attention to earlier. And as we draw our attention back into the center of our body, you may like to revisit the sensation of the breath, of the heart. Chest, belly, rising and falling, heart beating. And in the final few moments of this practice, we'll turn our attention again to the breath, the rise and fall of the chest and the belly, the cool air coming in through our nostrils, and using that as a point of anchor and focus. No doubt throughout this whole practice, all of us experience thoughts whizzing in. This is just a reminder that when that happens, a totally normal part of life, of brains and minds that think are constantly working, using energy. To give them a bit of rest, we can then just refocus ourselves on the breath. And as we move from the shared practice, we can pay attention once again to that solidity, our support, our bodies supported by the earth. And we can start bringing a little bit of movement into our bodies. We've paid attention to lots of different parts of them. We've possibly found out things that we didn't realise about various parts of them. And now let's just give them a little bit of a move. This feels right for you, just a bit of a shoulder shuffle. You may want just to give your hands a shake. I certainly want to stretch my feet out and give those a good old rotate. And then we'll give a final bit of gratitude to our bodies, a bit of compassion towards our bodies, and also thank each other for participating in this practice together. And thank you very much indeed for practicing with me today. Super. So we'll give everyone